Well, Colin, apart from some absolutely abysmal weather last year, probably the biggest talking point was that first berm. Everybody seemed to have problems with it. Why?
Yes, well actually where you needed the berm the most was at the tail end of it. There was actually practically no dirt there at all or no berm. So when a rider went round it, naturally they'd either go off the top or they'd have to slow right down to ridiculous speeds. So there was a lot of confusion there, and also it was a very tight berm, so it was really a one-man berm. Only one person could come out of it at a time. So it made the track generally a whole-shot track. Actually, it wasn't that good, to be quite honest. We could refer to it as pretty lame, because once you had the first berm, a guy would come out of there, and it was a very flat track, not very challenging at all, real mellow, you know, just nothing really challenging in it, apart from, you know, straights and flat.
Okay, well, as we said earlier, the Dunedin BMX Club have done a lot of work on the course this year, and they've upgraded. You got a chance to have a look at it earlier. What did you think of, how does it compare?
Right, with the start gate, we've got automatic lights, there's electronic lighting, and you watch the lights, and they go. And you go down the first straight, and you try and pedal over that first jump, fast as you can into the corner, apply your brakes, back onto your pedals again, try and keep a tight line around that jump, over the jump, pedal up to this one, try and lift up, clear that little bump, that's your soggy patch over that jump, around the last straight. This is where it's hard work, this is where you have to grind. You have to grind up this last straight, over the jump, logs the wood, and back home for a finish. And that's about it.
Well, Colin, judging by the heavy breathing there, I reckon you're better off behind the desk here today.
Yes, well, it's a pretty challenging track, and it's going to be very hard racing. They're going to be max performance all the way around. It's a hard track, actually. It's very hard riding.
Well, Colin, I suggest you go and have a lie down for a few minutes there. And that is the new track here at the Forester Park in Dunedin, and it does promise to cause one or two problems for the 24 riders we've gathered from all over New Zealand for this year's event. Now, those riders will be racing for the Challenge Trophy, along with an Adidas tracksuit and this Bosun cabin bag from Flight's Regatta collection. Only 6 will go through to the final, and those 6 finalists will also receive Citizens Courts Alarm Chrono watches with 5 basic functions. Those watches are valued at $100 each. And right now it's time for round 1 and the first moto of the day. And Colin, of course, a moto is really just the heat, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, let's take a look at the riders in this first heat. In lane 1, we have 104 Mike Manell of Wellington.
Yes, well, Mike is one of those riders that seems to pull it out of the hat. He's a very natural, talented rider.
Okay, 114 in lane 2 is Graham Petrie from Rangiora.
Well, he's just taken up wrestling in the last couple of months, and he's put on a lot of brawn, so he'll be right in there.
106 is Tim Carroll from North Avon.
Well, Tim is a young rider, only 13, but he's done very well to get this far in the competition, and he'll be up there.
Okay, in lane 4 is Stephen Reid from Dunedin, 109.
A very quick rider. This rider's been practicing a lot on the track, and he knows it like the back of his hand.
Okay, from Bishopdale is Shane Henney, 110.
An 18-year-old rider, very good rider from Christchurch. Not long just got back from Australia also.
Okay, and 121 in the final lane is Michael Neville from Bishopdale.
And he's also another very quick rider, and he's been on the gas quite a lot lately, so he'll be right up there, so it's going to be a pretty tough moto.
Riders, are you ready? Watch the lights.
And away they go, the board's down. Who's first in the drop of its neck and neck? Stephen Reid of Dunedin's in front, but only just past him now is Shane Henney of Bishopdale. Rider down, Henney of Bishopdale in front, Stephen Reid of Dunedin, can't pick who's third. Still Henney in front, then Stephen Reid of Dunedin. Over the mountain they go, still Henney of Bishopdale, Stephen Reid of Dunedin. Into the berm, coming into the home straight now. Shane Henney of Bishopdale in front, Stephen Reid of Dunedin. He's not going to bridge the gap, he's going to be second. Third's going to be 114, Graham Petrie of Rangiora.
The first race of the day, Shane Henney and Stephen Reid both get good starts. Henney with a bit more power pulls ahead of Stephen Reid, and Tim Carroll, the 13-year-old, bumps into Stephen Reid's back wheel and falls down and bites the dust, allowing Petrie and Mark Neville to go around him.
Okay, and the second moto now, and in lane 102, David May. Any relation?
Yes, as a matter of fact, he happens to be my brother.
Better than you are?
Oh, we toss a coin.
Okay, in lane 2 is Darren Eckhold from Dunedin.
Yes, he's a very strong rider, pulled out very well in Rotorua with the Trans-Tasman Challenge up there, and he's a very strong rider, Darren.
He's looking good. Lane 3 is Sean Kerr from Dunedin.
Yes, well, he's been to America and been all over the place, a very talented and well rider.
Okay, Garth Mitchell in lane 4.
Also done a bit of travelling, and he's also a very good rider from Christchurch.
And Rodney
Poyo.
Rodney Poyo.
Yeah, well, Rodney's a very good rider, South Island, #1 in the 15-year-olds earlier on in the year, so he's a well-ranked rider.
And in the final lane is Adam Wicks, is it?
Yes, Adam Wicks. He was from the North Shore Club in Auckland, so he's been around a bit, and he does know tracks very well.
Riders, are you ready? Watch the lights.
There they're off. Great start from Darren Eccles of Dunedin. He's going to be first down the drop-off. He's opened up a length already. Darren Eccles in front. Rodney Poyo of Kaipo in second. Has to go high. Darren Eccles of Dunedin in front. Can't pick second. Rodney Poyo of Kaipo in third place. Still Darren Eccles of Dunedin coming up to the mountain. He's in front. He's opened up 2 lengths. Takes the mountain brilliantly. Darren Eccles of Dunedin. Down the back around the home burn he goes. Darren Eccles of Dunedin still in front. 102 David May of the North Shore in second place. Poyo hit the tyre when he was challenging. May didn't take the last jump well, but Darren Eccles of Dunedin will take it. May second, and the unlucky Poyo of Kaiapoi third.
Okay, now in the third motor, the riders in lane 1 is Michael McQuinney from North Avon.
Yes, he's another very good rider, a 15-year-old. He's very experienced in BMX.
Alan Smith from Dunedin in lane 2.
He's been around ever since the start of BMX, actually. He's been in it for about 4 or 5 years, and he's tripped to Australia.
In lane 3 is Perry Hunt from Wellington.
And a very aggressive rider, but very talented also, extremely fast when he wants to be.
And do you think he wants to be today?
I hope so.
Lane 4 is Alistair Manning from Wainui Armada.
Alistair, he always seems to pull it out of the hat also. He really goes when he wants to.
Darren Wilcock from Hornby.
Well, he's last year's TV Challenge rider, and so he'll be wanting to hold his name up this year.
And in the final lane is Glenn Miller from Mangere.
Yes, well, he's a very, very big 15-year-old, and he'll stick his ground with the rest of them.
Riders, are you ready? Watch the lights.
Gates down, they're off. TV champion of last year, Darren Wilcox in front down the drop-off, and still in front, Darren Wilcox, second place, 103, Alistair Manning of Wainui Armada. There's a rider trying to go around, and he's paid for it. He's down on the ground. Still Darren Wilcox in front from Hornby. Down the back he goes over the ditch. Darren Wilcox comes over the mountain, takes it well, in second place looks like the Wellington rider, Perry Hunt. Still Darren Wilcox up the home straight he goes from Hornby, the last year's TV champion, in front by 3 lengths. Hunt of Wellington second. Third will be 113 if he keeps pedaling. And that was Michael McWhinney of North Avon.
Wilcox has a great start, really powers it down the first straight with Manning and Hunt on the inside and Miller on the outside as he really goes into the first corner in the lead. As Wilcox puts his foot out for a bit of stability. Watch Manning here in the black helmet. The elbow goes into Miller. Well, I suppose some riders you just don't get too close to. Wilcox is led into the second corner without too many problems in the lead. Puts the power on. He slides a little bit there, and he gets away out of that without many problems. And there's McWhinney and Manning battling it out for second place.
Right, now on to the fourth and final moto in this first round of Television New Zealand's BMX Challenge, and the riders are in lane 1, Michael Ray.
Michael Ray from Dunedin, a very good rider. He did excellent to get into the racing here.
Okay, Mark Tanner from Port Chalmers.
Another very good rider, #2 New Zealand actually, and he's been around BMX for quite some time.
Nick Lambert is a rider from Western.
Yes, that's up in Auckland, and he's been gassing lately, so he'll be the one to watch.
Scott Brown, who did very well yesterday in the freestyle.
That's right, Scott's a very good freestyle rider, but I wouldn't put it past him in the racing either. He's really starting to get into it and did well.
He looks like he means business, and
Yes.
lane 5 is Brent Burrows from Levin.
Yes, well, he's just come back from Aussie. He raced his cruiser in 20-inch, and he's a very experienced, and he's a #1 guy at the moment too.
And in lane 6 is Mark Neville, brother of Michael.
Yes, and he's 14 from Christchurch, so he'll be in there trying to hold his family name up also.
Riders, are you ready? Watch the lights.
Gates down, and no one's broken the line yet. 111's in front. Nick Lambert of Western only just. He's got the inside running. Lambert of Western in front. Goes pretty high. There's a rider slipping through. Scott Brown of Dunedin in front. And he's all but lost it. Lambert's in front now. Scott Brown's in second place over the ditch at the back. Lambert comes up to the mountain, takes it well. So does Scott Brown. Mark Tanner's in second place. He's from Port Chalmers. He's come from about 5th. But it's Lambert from Western in the North Island. Then Mark Tanner of Port Chalmers doing extremely well in second place. Third will be 122, Brent Burrows of Levin.
Well, that was the first round of motos, which will eventually decide the finalists in this year's challenge. Now, place getters are awarded points as follows. First place gets 9 points, second 6 points, third 4 points, fourth 3 points, fifth 2 points, and sixth place gets 1 point. And of course, if a rider doesn't actually finish the course, there are no points at all. Now, each rider's points are totalled up over 3 rounds of motos. The highest point scorers, the 3 highest point scorers, will go straight through to the final, and the other 3 finalists will come later in a repechage. It's now time for a new part of the BMX Challenge. Freestyling has always been a popular part of BMX riding, and this year we're presenting a new trophy for freestyle riding. And along with the trophy goes an Adidas tracksuit and a travel bag from Flight's Regatta collection. Now, the competition was held and recorded earlier yesterday. Colin May went along to check it out.
Up on the hill at the Mornington Bowls, the weather is perfect for freestyling, slightly overcast with no wind at all. We have 5 contestants in this first Television New Zealand freestyle competition. They are Julian Dirks, Joseph Power, Danny Taylor, Scott Brown and Tony Dick. They're all from Dunedin. Later they'll be able to do their own thing, but for the moment it's the first of 3 compulsory jumps. And first off, aiming to get as high as possible, is Julian Dirks. And he's trying to get the speed up. The greater speed, the higher they'll get when they jump. And he gets quite a lot of air there, actually. Joseph Power now sets off. He again will try to get up as much speed as possible. Yes, and he slightly twists his bike sideways there, trying to get a little bit extra height out of it. Danny Taylor sets out for his ride. He's powering it away. And lifts. We have Scott Brown now, trying for his jump. Gets a lot of speed up. And yes, he really goes. Gets a lot of air there. Tony Dick, now on his way. Another very good freestyle rider. Really lifts his bike up. That was good jumping by Tony there. Joseph Power sets off on his way, and he's going to try for a one-hander. See if he can get enough speed up off the lip of the bowl. And yes, he goes and reaches really high with that hand. Scott Brown now sets off. Watch this guy, he's very good. Yes, he gets way up with one hand right clearly away from his handlebars. Tony Dick, again getting a lot of speed up. Very nice. That was beautiful jumping there by Tony Dick. Danny Taylor, he's got the nylon wheels, which an innovation of BMX, trying to get some speed up here. And he crashes. Scott Brown on a new bike, just recently purchased it. Yes, he gets good air there, Tony Dick, and trying to get a lot of power out of his bike so he can get some speed up and height. Yes, one-hander, one-footer. That's very good jumping, and he landed with no problems at all.
Well, Colin, the freestyle certainly off to a flying start.
Yes, well, some of those guys are really getting up in some air.
Okay, well, back here at the racetrack, of course, there are no age limits to BMX racing, are there?
No, actually, so long as your feet can touch the ground, I think you're in with a chance.
Okay, and just to prove the point, our next race is for boys and girls 6 years and under, and I don't suppose you've had a chance to race against any of these?
No, they're a bit above me, sorry.
Okay, well, let's take a look at them now. And in lane 1, we have 905 is Jamie Kay. In lane 2, 335 is Daniel Sparks. In lane 3, Duncan Fraser. And in lane 4, Jamie Chapman.
Riders, are you ready? Watch the lights.
The gates down in the 6 and under, and first out like the proverbial bullet, Jamie Kay of Hornby. Down the drop-off he goes in second place from Tyree, Duncan Fraser, and 335 Daniel Sparks of Dunedin in third place. Through the S's, Jamie Kay of Hornby goes, looks over his shoulder. He's got a really big lead. He's 5 or 6 lengths clear, going over the ditch at the back. They don't go over the mountain this time, and taking the right short way around is Jamie Kay of Hornby, still like 10 lengths clear of Duncan Fraser of Tyree. Then little Daniel Sparks of Dunedin in third place. Jamie's into the home straight now, and he's full of running. Up to the last jump, over the log drop-offs he goes, and he goes to the line about 15 lengths clear of Duncan Fraser of Tyree. He'll be second. Good battle for third, though.
Riders, are you ready? Watch the lights.
Gates down, and Sean Kerr got a flyer. He's from Dunedin. He's first on the drop-off. Look at the power he's got. Perry Hunt from Wellington in second place. Still Sean Kerr of Dunedin. Hunt is a rider down at the back, but it's Sean Kerr of Dunedin going down the back in front of Perry Hunt of Wellington in second place. Couldn't spot third. Still Sean Kerr making every poster winner in this. Great riding from these first 3. Hunt of Wellington in second place. Third's 105. That's Glenn Miller of Mangere, but it's all Sean Kerr of Dunedin. He's got to have to really paddle low. Hunt will be second from Wellington, and 105 Glenn Miller of Mangere third.
Sean Kerr gets a lightning start. He gasses it down the first straight, although Perry Hunt on the outside with a little bit more speed into that first corner. Kerr knows this track well. Tim Carroll in the background goes into Mark Neville's back wheel and finds himself on the ground for the second time. That leaves Sean Kerr and Perry Hunt into the second corner. Kerr comes out of it, and there's Adam Wicks, who slides out, and endos also. So we've got Kerr, Perry Hunt and Glenn Miller coming out of that without too many problems.
Riders, are you ready? Watch the lights.
Gates down, and Stephen Reid from Dunedin got a flyer. So did Lambert of Weston, and Lambert of Weston's on the inside, and he's pedaling hard. Lambert of Weston in front, going into the S for the first bench. Stephen Reid tried to outride him, but it's still Lambert. Stephen Reid of Dunedin in second place. Can't spot third, but it's still Lambert in front, coming up to the mountain. Lambert of Weston starting to clear away from Stephen Reid of Dunedin. All Lambert, Nick Lambert of Weston in front, then Stephen Reid of Dunedin. Good battle for third. Looks like Michael McWhinney of North Haven, Cosmo in third place, but it's Nick Lambert. Stephen Reid, there's McWhinney down. Third will be 102, David May from the North Shore.
Riders, are you ready? Watch the lights.
Gates down, and who's broken the line? Looks like 104. No, Darren Eccles of Dunedin on the stream outside. He's in front, and there's a great battle for second, but it's Darren Eccles of Dunedin in front. Kept his cool, and he's still in front. Being hard pushed, though. Oh, Darren Eccles still in front. 1 length clear going over the back. Up to the mountain he goes. Darren Eccles can't pick up second or third yet. Still Darren Eccles of Dunedin. Into the home straight he goes. Still Darren Eccles of Dunedin being hard pushed for 116. Scott Brown of Dunedin, he's only half a bike length behind. Third is Alistair Manning away no matter, but Eccles, Brown and Manning.
Eckold powers it into the last straight with Scott Brown on the inside, coming up over the ride. Manning also in there. Scott Brown's the freestyle rider from yesterday. We'll see how they come over this last jump. We've got Eckold gets through, Brown gets through, Manning actually catches up a bike length. So it's a fight on down the finish line. Eckold goes to win it, and it is a close finish, actually a dead heat.
Riders, are you ready? Watch the lights.
Gates down, and Darren Wilcock from Hornby got a flyer. He's out like a proverbial bull. There's 122 trying to outride him. That's Brent Burrows of Levin. Still Wilcock's just in front. He's kept his cool beautifully. The Levin rider still in second place. Can't spot third. It's a Super Sport rider going down the back. He's moving into second now. But it's still Darren Wilcock from Hornby, the TV champion of last year, still in front. Likes the dry track. He likes the wet track, but it's still Darren Wilcock's in front. But the number 112, Rodney Poyo, it is coming to second place. Poyo of Kaiapoi, third will be 122, Brent Burrows of Levin.
And with 2 qualifying rounds down, the points for each rider are as follows. Last year's champion Darren Wilcock from Hornby has the maximum 18 points. David May has 10. Alistair Manning with his dead heat in the last heat has 12 points. Mike Manell has 5. Glenn Miller has 5 and Tim Carroll on 2. Sean Kerr of Dunedin has 10 points. Darren Eccles, posing a threat to Darren Wilcox, has the maximum 18 points. Stephen Reid from Dunedin has 12. Shane Henney has 12. Another one on 18. The maximum points is Nick Lambert. Rodney Poyo has 10. Michael McWhinney has 5. Graham Petrie from Rangiora has 6. Mark Neville, Bishopdale, has 4. Scott Brown has 9. Alan Smith, 3. Adam Wicks, 5. Perry Hunt from Wellington is on 9. Garth Mitchell has 5, Michael Neville has 5, Brent Burrows 8, Mark Tanner 9, and Michael Ray from Dunedin has 2. Well, the last qualifying round is still to come, and those final places are still wide open. Right now, though, it's time to go back to the Mornington Bowl for the second round of yesterday's Freestyle Championships with Colin May.
And back at the bowl this time, it's the voluntary round. Julian Dirks, he chooses a one-hander, one-footer. Trying to get plenty of speed up. And lifts, and he gets his hand and his foot away from his bike, landing safely. Joseph Power, he is going to attempt to do a one-foot helicopter. Yes. Scott Brown, he's attempting a low. Getting plenty of speed. High, yes. That was a tabletop one-footer, actually. Tony Dick doing a one-hand, one-foot helicopter, so this should be interesting. Yes, he gets the handlebars around, one hand and 1 foot off the bike. Julian Dirks, he's now attempting a one-foot helicopter. So he'll try and get plenty of speed up. 1 foot, and he turns the handlebars around. Scott Brown, see if he can get a bit of speed up. He's going to be attempting a tabletop now. Ooh, he did a one-hander there, but didn't quite get it back on the bike and his foot back on the bike in time to land. And we have Tony Dick with a helicopter. As you can see, he works his bike and lifts and turns. Beautiful jumping there by Tony. Very good jumping. We have Scott Brown now with a one-hander, 360. So this will be interesting. Yes, very good. He didn't quite keep his feet on the bike, but he turned the bike right around 360 degrees. We have Tony Dick. He's going to be doing a one-hander. I imagine this will be a high one. Yes, very high, and he waves to the crowd when he's in the air. Very good riding there by Tony Dick. That's the end of our second round of freestyle. We'll be back here after the third round of the challenge.
Well, we've had BMX racing, BMX freestyling. There is a third BMX event, and it's called Trials. And that's an event where riders attempt to negotiate an obstacle course without putting their feet on the ground. Speed isn't essential in this event, but as you can see from this, anything can happen. Colin, not too many riders successfully through those obstacle courses. Have you ever tried that?
Not that actual type. We have what we call mountain riding, where we load our bikes into a van, we go to the top of a hill, and we come flying down at about 50 miles an hour on gravel roads and have a great time.
It's true what they say about you guys, you're all crazy. Well, it's time for round 3 now, and Moto 9 van, they're already at the start. And in lane 1 is Shane Henney from Bishopsdale.
Yes, Shane had a first and a fourth, so he'll be looking for good points in this race.
Alongside him in lane 2, Garth Mitchell.
Garth's had a fifth and a fourth, so he'll be looking to stay up with the bunch anyway.
Lane 3, a better second race really, Perry Hunt.
Yes, he had a disappointing first race from Perry. He picked it up a bit in the second, and hopefully he'll do just as well this race.
In lane 4 with the same points as Mark Tanner.
Yes, Mark has got a second and a fourth, and he's from Port Chambers Club in Dunedin.
And Mike Minnell in lane 5.
Well, Mike's one of those riders, he's either on or off. When he's on, he's untouchable, but unfortunately for him today, he's off.
And lane 6 is Michael Neville.
Yes, Michael Neville's had a fifth and a fourth. He's from the Bishopdale Club, so he'll just be able to stay up with him this time.
Riders, are you ready? Watch the lights.
Takes down and away they go. It's Minnell, got a beautiful start. Mike Minnell in front, but only just. He's got a hard job to go right around the field here. Mike Minnell's holding it. No, he's not in front now. Perry Hunt's in front. Mark Tanner of Port Chambers in second place, still in second place. Can't pick third, but it's Hunt. Hunt in front from Wellington. Over the mountain he goes, nearly bowled a couple of ducks with him, but it's still Perry Hunt of Wellington in front. Mark Tanner of Port Chambers holding second, and only just. And here comes Mike Minnell of Wellington. Tanner's lost it. Minnell's fighting hard now. Hunt's going to have to really keep going. Minnell will be second. Third will be 120, Garth Mitchell of Bishopdale.
Alrighty.
And on now to the second motor. The rider's nearly ready at the start, and in lane 1 is Rodney Puyo.
Yes, Rodney's had a third and a second. He is a consistent rider, so he'll obviously be looking for about the same.
That's a good position to be in at the moment.
Yes.
In lane 2, Alistair Manning.
Well, he's also had a second and a third. He's a very strong rider from Wainuiomata.
They'll be watching each other carefully. In lane
Yes.
3 is Nick Lambert, two
Well,
firsts.
Yes, Nick actually is an incredible rider. He's really riding well today, so, you know, the best of luck to Nick.
He must be in with a good chance.
Definitely.
In lane 4 is Graham Petrie from Rangiora.
Yes, Graham's had a third and a fifth, extremely strong rider, so he may be able to pull something out of the hat too.
And here's this chap David May in lane 5.
Yes, well, David's had a second and a third. Good consistency there by him, so he'll obviously be wanting something a little bit better too.
And in lane 6 is Adam Wicks.
Adam's had a fourth and a fifth, and he's from the Bishopdale Club in Christchurch.
Riders, are you ready? Watch the lights.
Gates down and false start it is. Making your way back up to the start now. Sucking all the air they can.
Yes, well, actually, a false start is when someone has done something wrong. He either jumps his bike across into someone else's lane, or he pulls back on the board and then punches the board. That's called slingshotting. So either two, or there's actually many offences. One could be called back for a false start. I'm not too sure on what actually happened in that one.
Can you be disqualified?
No, you can't be disqualified if you do something totally illegal, maybe, but not for just taking someone else's lane or...
Okay, they're all set again.
Riders, are you ready? Watch the lights.
Gates down and away they go, and Lambert got a beautiful start. He's 111. He powers down the drop-off. Lambert from Western. Can't pick second or third, but it's Nick Lambert of Western in front, still in front. Great lead he's got. Real pile-up at the back. Rodney Puyo's right at the back of the field, went right over top of Adam Wicks of Bishopdale, but it's all Nick Lambert of Western in front. 3 legs clear as he turns into the home straight. Second place is Graham Petrie of Rangiora, and 103 coming on very strong. Alistair Manning of Wainuiomata. Lambert will take it. Manning second, and Petrie Rangiora third.
Lambert powering down the last straight. You can see his wheel in the air. That's all the power going in there. There's Petrie in there, and also Alistair Manning and David May in the background. But Lambert over that jump beautifully with Graham Petrie. There's Alistair Manning doing his normal trick, catching up a place on that last jump. But it's all Nick Lambert to the finish line. And Alistair Manning catches the second place for the third time today.
To the third motor of this final round, the tension's really starting to build here, Colin. Let's take a look. Darren Wilcock, he must be a bit worried about some of the challenges coming.
Yes, well, Darren's had 2 firsts, and he's riding very well, actually. I probably haven't seen him ride so well since the last challenge.
Okay, and lane 2 is Scott Brown.
Well, Scott, he's had a fourth and a second. You can watch him in the first corner. He'll probably come from about fourth into second place through that first corner. Very good riding through the first corner.
Yes, he's done that every time so far, hasn't he?
Yes.
Lane 3 is Tim Carroll.
Yes, well, Tim's actually had a fall in one of his races, and he got tangled up in the last one, so he'll hopefully be doing a little bit better this
In fact,
time.
it's almost impossible for Tim, isn't it?
Yes.
In lane 4, Darren Eckhold.
Well, Darren is a very good rider. He's really on the gas today. So he's got incredible starts also. He's got these lights perfected.
Yeah, he had a good run last year, and he's back again. And lane 6 is lane 5. Sorry, that's Michael McQuinney, isn't it?
Yes, well, Michael's had a third and a last, so he'll probably be trying to pull something out of the hat.
And in lane 6 is Glenn Miller.
Yeah, well, Glenn had a last, which he fell off in his first race, unfortunately, and he had a third, but he's very strong, and I wouldn't put it past him.
Riders, are you ready? Watch the lights.
Gates down and 2 unbeaten riders in this, and Darren Eccles from Dunedin's got a flyer. He's out by 2 lengths. Darren Woolcock and Darren Eccles slipped his pedals. Woolcock's hit a tyre, taking a shortcut through the grass. Now the lead's changed. The 2 Darrens are second and third, but I can't spot who's in front. Scott Brown, it looks like, is in second place. Scott Brown, Darren Eccles moved through the field again. He's in second place. He's trying to go right around him. He has done. Darren Eccles to Dunedin. He's at the front. 105's in second place. Glenn Miller of Mangere. And it's the homeboy, Darren Eccles. He'll take it again. 3 in a row. Miller second, third. 1 Michael McQuinney of North Haven.
What a race. Eccles slips his pedal, allowing Darren Wilcox to come through on the inside. He is pushed for room and he has to go inside the tyre around the first corner, but Glenn Miller on the outside there goes round there with a nice line back on the power. And it's Darren Wilcox and Glenn Miller. Miller with a better line into the second corner, Eccles behind him and Wilcox also in there.
Well, Colin, the racing is really looking fairly hot now in terms of the last motor of this qualifying round. This is, for some of them, the last chance, really, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, and in lane 1, it's Brent Burrows.
Yes, it's warmed up well, but Brent's got 2/3, so he'll be looking to equal that or better it even.
In lane 2, it's Stephen Reid.
He's got 2 seconds. He's really going well, so Stephen will want to keep those points up also.
And rather mixed results here from Sean Kerr.
Yes, he's a last and a first. He's a terrific starter. This guy will definitely be the first out of the gate.
Okay, we'll be looking for that. Lane 5 is lane 4 again is Alan Smith.
Yeah, well, Alan Smith has had a 5th and a last, so he'll just be wanting to keep up with the rest of them.
And this is the young 13-year-old Michael Ray in lane 5.
Yes, he may be finding it a little bit tough for the rest of these riders. He's had 2 last, but he's in there with a go anyway.
And he'll be back next year.
Definitely.
Lane 6 is Mark Neville.
And Mark Neville's had 2 fifths so far. He's also probably finding it a little bit tough with his very competitive racing.
Riders, are you ready? Watch the lights.
Gates down and Sean Kerr got a flyer, so did Stephen Reid of Dunedin. They're neck and neck. Sean Kerr's got the edge now, though. 2 Dunedin boys, Sean Kerr and Stephen Reid. Haven't spotted third. Another Dunedin rider, Alan Smith, in 4th place, but it's still Sean Kerr going down the back. 2 lengths clear of his Dunedin clubmate, Stephen Reid. Up and over the mountain Sean goes, takes it well. Still 2 lengths clear of Stephen Reid. Another rider slipped into second place now. It's 122. That's Brent Burrows of Levin, but it's still all Sean Kerr going over the last. He's taken it. Burrows of Levin will be second, and Stephen Reid of Dunedin third. Alan Smith will be 4th.
Go on, my mate.
Well, that was the last motor of the qualifying rounds. The top 3 scorers from them will be going straight through to the grand final, and the next 3 finalists will be chosen from a repechage to be run between the next 6 top scorers. All that will be happening as soon as the results are collated. Right now, though, it's time to go back to the Mornington Bowls with Colin May for the final round of yesterday's freestyle competition.
In this third and final freestyle round, we've moved to the capsule bowl. With almost vertical sides and over 3 metres deep, we're in for some impressive riding. On the points board at the moment, we have Julian Dirks, 47.25, Joseph Power, 60.35, Danny Taylor, 39.40, Scott Brown, 69.50, and Tony Dick way out in front with 81.40. Now, each contestant must perform a display in the capsule bowl lasting no less than 30 seconds and no more than 40 seconds. And with Tony Dick so far out in front, it's going to take some impressive riding by the others to catch up with him. And first up, we have Julian Dix. And he enters the bowl, and he goes for an aerial. He'll probably try and gain some speed up to the top end. It's a roll back, riding his bike backwards, flicks it round. He's going to get some speed up now. Goes for an aerial, flick round. More speed, aerial, tabletop, cross up, back, drop down into the bowl. The degree of difficulty here is extremely high. As you can see there, he just performed a one-hander aerial. His bike actually leaves the ground, which gets it right away from the side of the bowl, and he drops back down. You can see him dropping back down. He drops down about 4 foot or so, right down into the bottom of the bowl, and he pops out. Scott Brown will be our next contestant to come into the bowl. Here he comes. riding in, and he drops in. Now that's terrific. That's very good riding. A canyon jump over the canyon. He's getting plenty of speed up on the bike. And he kick turns way out the top of the lip. He's getting above the top of the lip and dropping back into the bowl. One hand, 1 footer there actually. You're probably dropping something like 8 to 10 foot back down into the bowl. Kicks the back around. He's really getting lots of speed up here. Doing a roll back, pedaling roll back. That's worth quite a lot of points to him. So there's the 30-second bell. He's doing a cross up 1 footer. And he'll have another 5 seconds left to go. He's going for some speed, and he pops out 360 out of it. Oh, yes. That's very good. Not quite able to stay on the bike, but a 360 pop out is extremely hard to perform. He would be one of very few riders able to actually do that trick. And now we have Tony Dick doing a 1 footer drop in. He drops into the bowl. He gets way out of the bowl. He really goes for some height when he goes up. Goes up, crosses up, one-hander. Very good riding there. That's a good point scorer there for Tony. Oh, yes, he's getting right out of the bowl there. One-hander, 1 footer. That's terrific riding there by Tony. Goes for a canyon jump over the gap there. Actually, bunny hops his bike off the wall. Cross up, gets it tabletop. He's got another 8 seconds left. And pops out, crosses up. Very good riding there by Tony Dick.
Well, certainly some very impressive riding up there at the Mornington Bowl, and we'll have the results, the overall results of that competition very shortly. But first, it's back to the Television New Zealand BMX Challenge Series, and the points table for the 3 qualifying rounds to date are as follows. Darren Wilcock, last year's champion, has 21. David May, 13. Alistair Manning, 18. Mike Manell, 11. Glenn Miller, 11. Tim Carroll, 3. Sean Kerr has 19. Darren Eckold, 3 first, has 27 points. Stephen Reid has 16. Shane Henney has 13. Nick Lambert, another with 3 wins out of 3 motos, has 27 points. And Rodney Poyo has 12. Michael McQuinney has 9. Graham Petrie, 10. Mark Neville, 6. Scott Brown, 11. Alan Smith has 6. Adam Wicks has 6. Perry Hunt has 18. Garth Mitchell has 9. Michael Neville has 7. Brent Burrows has 14. Mark Tanner, 12, and Michael Ray has 3. And that means that the 3 riders assured of a place in the finals are Darren Eckold with 3 wins from 3 motors and 27 points. Nick Lambert, also 3 wins, 27 points. Last year's champion, Darren Wilcock, has 21 points. Now, the next 6 top scorers get their last chance to qualify for the final in the repechage, and that's an all-out race to be one of the first 3 past the post. Points no longer matter, and they're up and ready to go. And Colin, in lane 1, we have Brent Burrows.
Yes, Brent has actually had a 2/3 and a second, and so he's in there with a chance.
And lane 2, Sean Kerr.
Yes, Sean has had a last disappointing in the first race, but he's come back with 2 first, so he's really going to be trying here.
That looks really promising for Sean, doesn't it?
Yes.
In lane 3 is Stephen Reid.
Yes, Stephen, he's got 2 seconds and a third.
Looks like he means business there.
Yeah, he's doing a bit of stretching. That helps limber up the body a bit. So.
Okay, in lane 4, Alistair Manning, very consistent.
Extremely. 3 seconds, which is really good riding there from Alan. That's Alistair. That's just what he wants to do to get through the race.
If he can do that again, he's in. Lane 5 is Perry Hunt.
Yes, Perry's had a 4th, a 2nd and a 1st. So his last 2 races, he picked it up well, and he's in with a fighting chance.
And in lane 6 is Shane Henney.
Yes, Shane's had a 1st, a 4th and a last. So we'll see how Shane does it. He really rode well in that first race of his.
Ready, watch the lights.
Gates down and first out. Sean Kerr of Dunedin got a beautiful start. Stephen Reid's in front though. He's from Dunedin. He's in the white with the yellow cap. Stephen Reid, Dunedin, starting to clear away. Stephen Reid still in front. I think it's Manning in second place. Alistair Manning of Wainuiomata up to the mountain. Stephen goes. He said goodbye, fellas. First 3 to the final, and Stephen Reid's going to make it. He's going to make sure of this one. He's at 1 jump away from victory. Stephen Reid, then Alistair Manning of Wainuiomata, and the third one looks like Shane Henney of Bishopdale. But it'll be Reid, Manning and Henney.
Well, before we announce the winner of yesterday's BMX Freestyle Championships, Colin, the standard of the riding was pretty good, wasn't it?
Yes, it would be the highest standard in New Zealand. They've got terrific facilities, and it was really great riding.
It's a lovely setting up there at the Mornington Bowl, isn't it?
Yes, very good spectator viewing for them to watch the riders in the bowls.
Inspirational.
Definitely.
And the winner of yesterday's BMX Freestyle Championship was Tony Dick. Tony, congratulations.
Thanks.
Tony, some marvellous riding in there. Did you do much training for it?
Yeah, I got the week off work for it.
Does it mean you have to share the prize with the boss?
Yeah, well, he's my father, so...
Well, Colin, you have the magnificent Television New Zealand BMX Freestyle Trophy, which is yours for 1983, Tony, a voucher for an Adidas tracksuit, and this travel bag from the Flight Regatta collection.
Thanks.
Congratulations again, Tony.
Thanks a lot.
Well, let's take another look at that winning performance. Club in Auckland.
Okay, Nick, you made it through to the final. What are you going to do to win?
I'm going to try and time the lights right and get a good start.
Darren Wilcock from the Hornby Club Christchurch.
Stay at the front, that's about it.
Darren Eckold from Dunedin.
Keep hitting the last straight, you know, like that.
Stephen Reid, also from Dunedin.
Well, I suppose we have to get a good start, and after that, we'll have to ride the berms well and try and keep riding the jumps.
Man with 4 second places today, Alistair Manning from Wainuiomata in Wellington.
I'll keep my elbows out with the other guys, Steve. That's all.
And last but not least, Shane Heaney from Bishopdale in Christchurch.
Oh, hope for a good start. Pedal flat out. Hope I'll get round the first corner.
Okay, Colin, for the big final, they've had to draw lanes, haven't they? Any
Yes.
advantages and disadvantages in that?
Yes, there is actually. If you have an inside lane, everyone tends to move over on you, and with the middle lanes, you're pretty right, and an outside lane, you've got to pedal around everyone else.
Okay, well, they're all lined up at the start. Let's see what lanes they've actually drawn. And now, in lane 1 is Nick Lambert.
Yes, and Nick is actually a very good rider. He'll be looking for a very quick start to get out in front of everyone, because everyone else will move over on him if he doesn't, so he'll be looking for a quick start.
A last year's champion in quite a good lane in lane 2, Darren Wilcock.
Darren is in a good lane. Actually, I do believe that Christchurch have a very good postal delivery in Hornby area, because Darren actually delivers post in the Hornby. So
The flying postman.
The flying postman, yes.
He's looking very serious about today.
Extremely serious.
Okay, in lane 3, he's Darren Eckold, who's had a tremendous run and a tremendous lane.
Yes, Darren is in a good lane, and he's been riding really well. From what I hear, he's been starting training about 6 o'clock every morning and working through, so he's put in a lot of hours.
He had a bit of bad luck last year, didn't he?
Definitely, yes, he did actually. He came off pretty rotten down the first straight, so he'll be looking to make sure he doesn't do anything wrong this time.
Okay, and in a perfect position. And in lane 4 now, Stephen Reid.
Stephen Reid from Dunedin, excellent rider. He really is. He always seems to come through, and very strong competitive rider.
How's lane 4 stand?
Well, lane 4 is not too bad, actually. You still got to get around everyone else, but if he gets a good start, it's quite a good lane.
Okay, now we're moving into the little more difficult lanes, and the man who got second through all of his races today, Alistair Manning.
Yes, well, Alistair will be looking to better that or even equal it, but from lane 5, he's going to really have to motor, because he's got to get round nearly everyone to get out of there.
Okay, and the man who has to do all of the work to get around everybody is out there in lane 6, and he's Shane Heaney.
Yes, well, Shane, he actually, what he could do in this is slow down behind the bunch and cut through on the inside. You never know, but he might do it as a type of a make or break effort. But Shane's definitely a top rider, and he flew in his first moto.
Okay, well, this is really the make and break effort, the big final.
This is it.
Riders, are you ready? Watch the lights.
Gates down, and Darren Eckold from Dunedin got up flyer. He's first off the drop off. It's Darren Eckold of Dunedin, and he slipped his pedals, but into the lead, the champion, Darren Wilcock, and he's lost it. There's one down, and there's 2 down. The lead is down. The lead's changing pretty fast. It's last year's champion, Darren Wilcock of Hornby, slipping away from the field. He's 3 lengths coming up to the mountain. Darren Wilcock. Stephen Reid's in 3rd place. He's pretty close there. But into the home straight, it's still Darren Wilcock of Hornby. He's being pushed now by Alistair Manning of Wainuiomata. It's Darren Wilcock of Hornby. Manning's fighting him hard. It's Wilcock, Manning. Stephen Reid of Dunedin, he'll be 3rd.
What a race that was. Let's look at it again. Heaney on the outside gets a good start, while Alistair Manning slips his pedal. Reid gets a good start. Both Eckold and Wilcox bolt out of the gate, and Lambert slips his pedal but is regaining quickly. It's Darren Eckold over the first jump. He slips his pedal as he did last year in the TV challenge, with Wilcox and Heaney going each side of him. Stephen Reid also in there. Wilcox slides sideways in the first corner. Eckold slides, Lambert slides. Heaney and Reed both go round the outside of the bunch on the ground, and it's Lambert who ends up on the ground. It's Darren Eckold comes out of that bunch, and he's really got the power to the ground. His front wheel goes out from underneath him, and he bites the dust. Quick thinking Wilcox changes direction. He goes around the outside of him with Alistair Manning and Stephen Reed in behind him. Lambert back on his bike in the background. Shane Heaney goes through on the inside, but it looks like it could be tight round this corner. But Darren Eckold has a bit more speed and momentum, goes right round Shane Heaney. Shane doesn't quite know what's going on here. Alistair Manning does the same thing round the outside, and Stephen Reed goes around the inside and crosses it up on this jump. In the last straight, it's Darren Wilcox with Alistair Manning close in behind him, Stephen Reed in there. But it's Wilcox really laying down the law down this last straight as he comes up to the final jump. Alistair Manning right in there and behind him, but it's Wilcox crosses his bike up. Alistair Manning aims his bike low, manages to catch up a place, but it's not going to be enough. Stephen Reed also back there in third, but it's Darren Wilcox who's going to be a bike length ahead of Alistair Manning for the TV challenge.
And so for the second year in a row, Television New Zealand's BMX Challenge Trophy champion is Darren Wilcox from Christchurch. Darren, congratulations. Marvellous effort. And the course this year, of course, we've talked about it earlier in the program, is a lot different to the course you won it on last year. How did you find it?
A lot more demanding with the bigger jumps and the bigger boom at the first corner.
But altogether quite a good track.
Good track,
Yeah, well, you said before the race that you hoped to go out there and lead all the way, but you had a bit of luck there at that first berm, didn't you?
Yeah, a couple of guys fell off and I managed to squeeze through.
You're going to be back next year?
Oh, definitely.
So you might end up with 3 of them, because we actually have 2 trophies for you this year. I'm not sure. This is the one for last year, because apparently you lost the one we gave you last year on a fire.
Yeah.
This is the one for this year, which will very shortly have your name on it. And Colin, you have the tracksuit, the voucher for the Adidas tracksuit, the flight travel bag. Have you got enough hands? And that, congratulations once again, Darren. And Colin, thank you very much for being with us. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yes, it was great fun. Thanks very much, Ian.
Glad you weren't out there today.
Oh, I still would have liked to be there.
And that's it from this year's Television New Zealand BMX Challenge Series. See you next year. Goodbye.
Every finalist in the Television New Zealand BMX Challenge received a Citizen Quartz alarm chrono watch with 5 basic functions.
It's Walt Disney's Mickey and Donald.